All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I see if you have joined. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's wait maybe 2 more minutes and give others some time to join. Until then, can you introduce yourselves? What's your name? I mean, I see your names, with your name, your school, and where you're coming from. You can put in the chat box. All right. So let's start with today's session. Okay. So starting off with segment one, basically, so I divided the session into two segments, okay? So segment one and segment two. So in segment one, I will be going through the short notes which I prepared for you all. And in segment two, I will be doing the questions, okay? So this business studies and accounting. So when it comes to this subject, okay, so basically accounting is what most of you all have a problem in, no? When it comes to business studies, it's all about theory, no? So if you all understand the concept and memorize it, that's it. You all can just put it on the paper, okay? But still, you all need a brush up, you all need a revision before the exam. So that's what I'll be doing here, okay? So for all of your business studies chapter, I have prepared a short note sheet for you all, okay? So I'll be completing that here. Okay, so maybe some of you all would have completed that already. So you all can just listen to me and understand whatever I'm teaching. And the ones who have not done, you all can complete it along with me. Okay, so these short note sheets will be really, really helpful for you all because I have made it, like I have briefed it out as much as possible. So like, few days before exams or the previous day before your exams, you all can just take these sheets and just go through and you all will just and you all can cover up all of your business studies chapters through these short note sheets. Okay, so yes, we'll start. I'll share the screen. So my plan is now when it comes we have grade 10 chapters and grade 11 chapters. So when we compare, there are, I think grade 10 there was one chapter and grade 11 there was another chapter in which the content was a bit bigger. The content, the comparatively, it was a bit bigger. So I thought of starting with those chapters. Okay, so I'll be starting with that, from grade 10, I think business organization, and grade 11, trade and supportive services. So I'll be starting with those chapters, and after that, I'll continue one by one. Okay, so I have a particular time period, until this time to finish the segment one. So by that time, if I'm unable to cover up all the chapters, okay, I'll be stopping from wherever I'll be stopping there. And then the chapters which I was unable to cover, I'll be definitely sending the answer script in the group. Okay, so basically, you all don't have to wait until then. Obviously, the simpler chapters will be remaining, so you all itself will be able to complete it. Okay, but then if you want to recheck with the answers, y'all can check with the answer script that I'll be sending within a week or two. And if you have any doubts, y'all can drop a message to me. I'll definitely be answering you. Okay, I'll try my best to cover everything. If I run short of time because it's a 3 hour session, obviously you can't, you know, do a lot within this limited time period. So I'll try to do as much as possible. If I'm unable to, I'll definitely be sending the answer script, inshallah. Okay, so I'll share the screen now. You all can see the screen, right? Can you all see the tune? All right. Okay, then let's start. Okay, so as I said, from the grade 10 chapters, I'll start with business organization, and then I'll move on to grade 11, the first chapter, trade and supporting services, and then I'll move on one by one because these two chapters are the ones in which the content is a bit bigger than the rest. So I'll complete those first, and then I'll move on to others. Okay. Okay. Business organizations. Okay. So business organization, when it comes to business organization, there are various different ways to classify them. Okay. So in this syllabus, okay, we are going through three different criteria that we have to classify the business organization. Okay. So there are various ways in which we can conduct a business. Okay. So these are the three criteria that we have. Okay, so I have given the classification in one particular, a place, the three diagrams. So at one glance, you can go through all the three classifications. So first, we have based on the ownership. So this is where, whether the business is owned by private sector people or the public sector. So public sector is who? It's the government. Okay, so there are business organization which is owned by the private sector, and there are business organization which is owned by the public sector. So the private sector organizations are sole proprietorship, partnership, incorporated companies. The cooperative society is other associations. Then we have the organizations owned by the government. Okay, so we have that also is classified. We have organizations under the central government, organizations under the provincial council, and organizations under the local government. Then we have based on the scale. So that is whether it's a small and medium scale business or whether it's a large scale business. Okay, whether we are conducting it in a large scale or whether it's a small petty category, based on the size of the business. Then we have the objective. What objective? Whether it's a profit motive or a not non-profit motive. We can conduct businesses in order to with the aim of only gaining profits. Okay. At the same time, there are businesses where they conduct for the welfare of the society, for the welfare of the people. Okay. Their main aim is not gaining profits. Okay, so we have such classifications as well. Okay, then we have profit gaining motive businesses. Even those we have private and public. Okay, we have profit motive businesses conducted by private sector, and we have profit motive businesses conducted by the government, by the public. Okay, at the same time, then we have not-for-profit, private sector business, and public sector businesses. So the classification at one particular place I have given you so that it's easy for you all to go through. Okay, then now for each of this business categorization, okay, so when it comes to the classification of business uh, based on the ownership, okay, private sector, public sector. So here we are going in detail about each of this business, and we'll go to the characteristics, the advantages and the disadvantages of conducting each type of business. So we'll go through each of this business one by one. Okay, so you all can be interactive through the chat box. Okay, so whenever I ask questions, I want to whenever I ask questions, you all can drop in the answers in your chat box. Okay, because if you'll go to unmute, it's going to be a whole chaos. So you can drop in the chat box. I will be checking the chat box throughout. Okay, so when it comes to sole proprietorship, what are the main characteristics that you can see in a sole proprietorship business? What are the main characteristics that you can see when it comes to sole proprietorship? Yes, the first characteristic that will come to your head is unlimited liability. Unlimited liability. Now, why? Now, sole proprietorship business is what? This is where businesses are conducted by one single person, where businesses which has a single owner. Okay, so these type of businesses, like one of the main characteristics that you can see is unlimited liability. Now, unlimited liability means what? Now, this is where the liability of the business is not limited to the capitals and the resources of the business. Okay, so in a situation when you are paying up your liability, and in a situation where your capital or the resource of the business is not enough, okay, your personal assets also can be used to cover up the liability. Okay, so this is like a main characteristic that you can see in a sole proprietorship business. Then another one, no legal personality, no legal personality. Now this means what? That means now whenever you carry out legal activities as a sole proprietorship, you don't carry out based on the business name. Okay, you use your personal name. Your personal name only will be used when you carry out legal activities as a business. Okay, then we have there are many characters that you can see that is mentioned in your textbook. Okay, so obviously we don't have time to go through everything. So I'll just be mentioning three. The rest you all can jot down under. Okay, then we have that the capital. The capital for the business, the capital for the business provided only by the owner, because the just one single person is only starting up the business. He is only the owner, so only he will put capital to the business. So capital provided only by the owner. So only the owner will put capital to the business. So those are basically like three characteristics from many characteristics mentioned in your book. Okay, then moving on to advantages. By conducting a sole proprietorship, what are the advantages you gain? Okay, first and foremost, by conducting a business, what do you gain? Profits and losses. Okay, so when you see from the positive side, okay, when you see look at the advantages, the profits that you gain from the business belongs only to you, belongs only to the owner. So that's a major advantage. Profit belongs profits belong to owner only. Okay, so only you can enjoy the profits alone. You don't have to share it with anyone else. What else? Convenient to start. Yes, convenient to start. Okay, only a single employee, which is you. Okay, don't need very huge resources and stuff to start. So it's very easy to start up the business. Convenient to start. What else? Yes, independent decision making. You are the only owner. You are the only one conducting the business. So only you are the one making decisions. So you can make the decisions according to your own preference. So independent decision making. Then when you move on to disadvantages, so what are the disadvantages by carrying out a sole proprietorship? Okay, so when it comes to this, okay, like when you study the characteristics of a business, from the characteristics, you can pick out the advantages, disadvantages as well. So that's a plus point. Okay, by studying all the characteristics, you can pick out and write the advantages, disadvantages as well. Now from here, from the characteristic that we wrote, there are disadvantages. What do you think are the disadvantages from the characteristics that we have mentioned? Yes, we have unlimited liability. Unlimited liability. So unlimited liability has disadvantage. So in a situation where you're unable to pay your liability, when they come and take over your personal assets, that's not a good thing. It's a disadvantage. Your own house, your own property will move on to someone else. So that's a disadvantage. So unlimited liability is a disadvantage. And not having a legal personality is a disadvantage as well. A disadvantage as well. Because when you go to carry out legal activities based on your personal name, okay, it's a risk. Okay, it's a risk. So that's a disadvantage as well. For not having legal personality. And at the same time, okay, a sole proprietorship where you are the only one carrying out the business activity. Okay, and no much resources used and everything. So like there is no guarantee that the business will continue for a longer period. So we can't assure the continuous existence. Okay, so that's a disadvantage as well. No continuous existence. No continuous existence. So this is a so not having continuous existence is a disadvantage as well. Okay, so with that, so that's with sole proprietorship. So there are more than enough points than these 3 points. There's many points mentioned in your textbook. You can definitely jot down under them. Okay, then moving on to partnership. So partnership is where a business organization where more than one people get together and they conduct a business organization. So according to the partnership act, okay, so minimum they will have 2 members or maximum 20 members. So business having such amount of members is called a partnership. So what do you think are the characteristics of partnership? Yes, no, when you take partnership, it's somewhat similar to sole proprietorship. It doesn't have much. Sole proprietorship, just one single member. Partnership, just having maximum 20 member. That's basically the major difference. Okay, so apart from that, the business is somewhat similar to sole proprietorship. Okay, so even this business, even partnership business has unlimited liability. That's like another. So when you take this particular point, okay, it comes to both sole proprietorship and partnership. Okay, so even partnership has unlimited liability. What else? Yes, same as sole proprietorship, even partnership doesn't have separate legal personality. So even partnership doesn't have doesn't have legal personality. What else? So as others, like there are so many points mentioned in your textbook. So I'll just be mentioning three. You all can jot down the others below this. Okay. So one more. Yes, even partnership does not have continuous existence. There's no assure that we can't guarantee that we can carry out this business for a longer period. So we can mention that here as well. So now see how you can match with different businesses by learning one. You can repeatedly mention for other businesses as well. Because it's not hard. Continuous existence. Okay, then moving on to advantages. Okay, so now when it comes to partnership, we have more people. So with more people, we can raise more capital. Yes, exactly. Now when it was sole proprietorship, we had just one person, only that single person put capital. But when it comes to partnership, we have more people. So we have more people to put capital. So we can raise more capital. We can raise more capital. What else? Advantages. So we have more than one person. So there'll be many people with multiple skill. If one has one skill, another person will have a different skill. So we can make use of multiple skills and carry out the business activity. So we can make use of multiple skills of people. Multiple skills of people and carry out the business activity. What else? Yes, now a main characteristic is unlimited liability. So when it was sole proprietorship, that single owner only had to bear the unlimited liability. But when it comes to partnership, since there are more than two members, the liability will be shared among the people. Okay, only one person does not have to bear the burden. Okay, so shared liability. Yes, just like we can share the liability, even the losses we can share it among us. Only one person does not have to bear it. Okay, then moving on to disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of partnership? It's somewhat again similar to sole proprietorship. So having unlimited liability is a disadvantage. Having unlimited liability is disadvantage. Okay, so in sole proprietorship, the profit only the owner was able to enjoy. But when it comes to partnership, we have more members, so the profits we have to share. We have to share the profits. Profits has to be shared. What else? Okay, so now we have many people conducting the business. Okay, so one people will have one opinion. So in such a situation, conflicts can occur, arguments can occur. Okay, so when it was sole proprietorship, it was independent decision making. Only the single owner can make whatever decision he wants. But now when more than one people comes, okay, one people will have one opinion. So there's going to be conflict. So that's a disadvantage. Okay, so that's a disadvantage. Okay, conflicts among the people. All right. Then moving on to incorporated companies. Incorporated companies. Okay, so these are basically comparatively to sole proprietorship partnership, a bit of large scale where many people join hands together and they conduct business activity. Okay, so when it comes to incorporated company, the term incorporated come because these businesses are incorporated under the Companies Act. Okay, so that's like a special characteristics. Okay, so these businesses are incorporated under the Companies Act. Incorporated under Companies Act. Okay, that's why the term incorporated companies come for these businesses. Okay, so another special characteristic of incorporated company when you compare to the previous two businesses is that they have a continuous existence. Okay, we can assure, we can guarantee that we can carry them for a long period of time. Okay, so these types of businesses have continuous existence. Continuous existence. What else? Another characteristic? Another completely different and a special one when you compare to the previous two? Yes, limited liability. Now, the previous two business, both of them had unlimited liability. But when it comes to incorporated companies, they have limited liability. That means the liability is limited to the capital and the resources of the business. Okay, the members of the company's personal assets will not be touched. Okay, so that's like another major characteristic of incorporated company. That is limited liability. Okay, so we have more points than this. You can jot down under. Okay, then moving on to advantages. What are the advantages of carrying out a incorporated company? Okay, yes, it has a legal personality. Incorporated company, okay, whatever the business name that we keep for these companies, all the legal activities we carry out based on the business name. Now, there are more than one people carrying out this business activity, So, whatever the legal activity they do it based on the business name. So, it has a legal personality. What else? Yes, just as I said, from the characteristic, we can again take points for advantages, disadvantages. Continuous existence is also an advantage. Continuous existence. Okay. Once again, limited liability is again an advantage. Okay. What else? Then we can raise another speciality of incorporated company. Okay, so we'll move this limited liability to advantages. And let me tell you a special characteristics of incorporated company. Does anyone know? Something that we don't do in partnership or in sole proprietorship. Like how do incorporated companies collect capital? How do they collect money for the business? Not money specifically, capital. How do they collect capital for the business? Yes, they raise capital by issuing shares. That's a special activity done in companies. Issuing shares. Through issuing shares, they raise capital for the business. So raising capital by issuing shares. Okay. A limited liability is also a characteristic of business of the incorporated company. We can take that as an advantage as well. Moving on to disadvantage. What are the disadvantages of carrying out incorporated companies? Yes, okay. Now, when it comes to incorporated companies, the amount of members carrying out the business is many, is a lot. So, whatever the profits that the business gains, they have to share it among all the members. Okay, even the ownership of the business is shared among all the business. Okay, just one single person cannot enjoy the ownership or the profits. Okay, so the profits and the ownership is shared. So that's like a disadvantage because you have to share it among all the members. What else? What's the other point? Great level of legal provisions. Exactly. Now, when it comes to incorporated company, it's a bit large scale than the previous two. So you have to, so the starting up of the business is a bit complex. If you want to wind up the business, the winding up of it is a bit complex. And if you want to do any legal activity, for that also you have to follow many rules. Okay, so there's a lot of legal provisions when it comes to incorporated company. Okay, so it's a bit of a hassle comparatively to other previous two business. Greater level of legal provision. Okay, so in your book only these 2 points are mentioned, so there were no other points. So we'll stop. So we'll stop with those 2 points. Okay, then moving on to cooperative societies. What are cooperative societies? Okay, so in your diagram, go back to the first page. In your diagram, you see here cooperative society. Now, whatever we discussed before, all this time, they were business organizations for profit, who conducted for profit. But now we are moving on to business organization where they conduct not for profit. They conduct the business organization for the people's welfare, for the society's welfare. Okay, so when it comes to cooperative society, okay, the main characteristics that you can see in a cooperative society, what are they? This is another type of business. Democratic control, exactly. Democratic control. Okay, we appoint a set of people to carry out the business activity, and when it comes to decision making, they take the majority opinion. They take the opinion of the majority of the people. Okay, and this society is formed through voluntary and open membership. Whoever wants will join. Okay, and it's open to all. Anyone who wants can join and carry out this business activity in a cooperative society. So it's voluntary and open membership. Okay, so anyone can join and carry out business activity. Okay, and cooperative societies are business organization whom all the people they have common expectations and common needs. Okay, they carry out the business activities to achieve this their expectations and needs. So whatever the expectation and need, the members for all it's common. For one particular expectation and need only, they carry out this business activity. Common expectations and need. Okay, so these are the few characteristics that you can see in a cooperative society. Okay, then you have the advantages. So by carrying out a cooperative society, what are the advantages? Okay, so just like I mentioned in the characteristic, democratic control is an advantage. Okay, democratically controlling the business is an advantage. Okay, having a democratic control. Okay, then, so carrying out the business activity for the well-being of the members. Okay, so whoever has openly, voluntarily joined to carry out this society, okay, we carry out the activities for the well-being of the members. Okay, so as a member, okay, whatever the needs and expectations we have will be fulfilled. So that's an advantage. Acting for the, so you all can copy down whatever I am typing out, okay, acting for the well-being of the members. What else? Okay, so now when it comes, so as I said, you this cooperative societies are business organization which does not gain profits. Their main aim is not to earn profit. So for business organization like this, government provides incentives. Okay, government provides incentives, various financial and unfinancial help. Okay, so that's an advantage. Okay, you get help from the government. Okay, we have government incentives. Okay, then moving on to disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Okay, so now this is a business joined by people who have voluntarily joined now. Okay, and they don't earn much profit. Their main aim is not to earn much profits as well. Okay, so this business, okay, they have limited capital. They don't have much capital. Okay, they don't have much capital to carry out the business. Only limited resources they have. Okay, so when it comes to cooperative societies, they have a set of cooperative policies, a separate set of cooperative policies that they have to follow. Okay, so they are restricted to that. They can't do whatever they want. Okay, they are restricted to this cooperative society. Policies. Cooperative policy. Okay, so yes, we have just 2 points. We can stop with that. Okay, then moving on to association. So this is another not-for-profit business organization. So this didn't have specific characteristics, advantages or disadvantages in your book. So they had just mentioned that they are organization established with the objective to achieve the well-being of the members. Okay, in order to accomplish a community service or a charitable activity. Okay, Then moving on to state corporations. Once again, an organization which does not aim to gain profit, but these these state corporation is a government-owned, not-for-profit business organization. Okay, so when it comes to state corporation, the main characteristic of it is that the ownership and control is done by the government. So, government ownership and control. Okay, so previously they were not-for-profit private businesses. Now, state state association organizations, state corporation, they are owned by the government. Okay, the ownership and control is done by the government. Okay, and they too have legal personality. Okay, they have legal personality. So these are specific characteristics of these businesses. Okay, and just like the other private business, the incorporated companies, they too have continuous existence. So it's not done by one or two people. So these are business organizations done by a group of people. Okay, so we can assure the existence of these businesses. Okay, so this business too has continuous existence. Okay, then moving on to advantages. Okay, so through state cooperation, government-owned businesses, what do? Government-owned businesses, what they mainly do is they provide services to the people. Okay, to the public sector, to the public people, they provide services. So us public people, we get services from these businesses. So these businesses, they provide they provide essential services. Okay, what else? Okay, now this is a public sector business. Now it's a business owned by the government. So businesses, through government starting up businesses, okay, we can reduce the monopoly effect of the private sector. If not, the private sector will take up the monopoly and they will start ruling. Okay, so to reduce the monopoly effect of the private sector, the government, they also establish business organization and carry out business activity. Okay, so that's another advantage. To reduce monopoly effect of private sector. Okay, so we have just those two advantages. Then moving on to disadvantages of state corporations. Okay, so as I said, it's a group of people carrying out business activities now. So we don't have independent decision making. Okay, so everyone has to get together and make a decision. Okay, so if you have a particular opinion, you can't carry out that particular whatever you want if other people don't agree with you. We have to collectively make the decision. Okay, so independent, no independent decision making. Okay. And then this is a business organization established by the government. So these business organizations are limited to the financial regulations of the government. They have to follow the financial regulations put up by the government. Okay, so limited to financial regulations of the Okay, so with that, the state corporation is done. Okay, then moving on to departments. Okay, so this is another business organization which is owned by the government and does not aim to earn profits. So what are the characteristics? Again, the ownership and control is with the government. Okay, government ownership and control. Okay, then again we have continuous existence. Okay, so these are huge business organizations now. So we can assure the existence of these businesses. Okay, then what else? Okay, another point, funded by the government. These are business organizations established by the government. No? So the government, okay, and they do not aim to earn profits. So the government will provide capitals and other funds to carry out the business. Okay, then moving on to advantages. What are the advantages? Okay, so these departments are business organizations who mainly, they are the ones who mainly provide services to public. Okay, they find out the needs of the public and they provide those services to the public. Okay, so they too mainly provide services to the public. Then handling long-term development activities. Okay, so this infrastructure, this renovation of roads and renovation of this infrastructure and irrigation. So all of these long-term development activities are handled by departments. Okay, that's another important point. Okay, they handle long-term development projects. Okay, so that's development. Okay, so that's it about the advantages. Then moving on to disadvantages. Yes, again, delay in decision making because a whole group of people has to get together and decide stuff. So the decision making takes time. Delay in decision making. Okay, and high labor cost. That's another point. Okay, they have to recruit so much people in order to handle these long-term development projects, to provide service to the public. So they need more labor in order to carry out this activity. So because of that, they have to incur a high labor cost. Okay, and even these organizations, they have to adhere to various regulations. Adhere to various regulations. Okay, so yes, all right. So with that, we are done with the businesses, which they have detailedly mentioned in your book. Okay, so we went through the characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. So so the ones that has more than 3 points, you all can jot it down on under them. Okay, so that when revising, you can use this sheet only to revise the lesson. Okay, so let's quickly go through the rest of the chapter. Okay, then factors to be considered when selecting an appropriate type of business organization. Now, you are going to start up a business organization. What are the factors that you have to consider? Okay, you have to consider when starting a business organization. Like, what type of business organization should I start? Okay, so to decide that, you have to go consider these three factors. Okay, one, okay, based on what objective do you want to start your business? Based on the objective. Okay, so what objective? Whether it's profit motive or not for profit motive. Okay, what objective, or whether it's private or public. Okay, so what objective do you want to start the business? That's the first factor. Okay, then the next one, based on the scale. Do you want to start a small scale business, a medium scale business, or a large scale business? Okay, that's the next factor. Then the third factor is based on who will perform the management activity. Okay, whether there is going to be a single owner or more than two people or more than that. Okay, who will perform the management activity? Based on that also is another factor you have to consider when selecting the type of business organization you are going to start. Okay, so based on who will perform the management activity. So this is the other factor that you have to consider. Okay, so these are the three factors that you have to consider when selecting an appropriate type of business organization. Okay, then going to the last part of the lesson, the registration of sole proprietorships. They have specifically detailedly given you on how you have to register your sole proprietorship. Okay, so step one. Okay, so there are three basic steps that you have to follow. So I have summarized and given you. So step one is where you basically submit the application form. Okay, so you will get an application form to fill out your business details. Okay, so the application form to register your business name. Okay, so you'll have a particular business name. So to register that, okay, you fill your application and then you have an application form that you obtain that you need to obtain a report from the Gram Niladhar. Okay, so those two applications and okay, so those two applications you have to submit to the divisional secretariat. Okay, so we have an organization called the divisional secretariat who is in charge of all of this activity. You have to submit those to the divisional secretariat. After that, okay, so this first application form is to register your business name. Okay, and then the second application form is to obtain to obtain the report from Gram Niladhar. After you submit both of them to the divisional secretariat, you obtain the relevant application form to register your business. Okay, so after that, you obtain the relevant application form. Then step number 2, you complete your application form. So along with your completed application form, okay, so here we got an application form to obtain the Brahmaninadari report. So using that, you obtain the report of Brahmaninadari, and along with that, your completed application form and a registration fee. So these three you have to submit to the divisional secretariat. So after you submit these three, the divisional secretary will go through the documents. If they are true and certified, the divisional secretary will issue the certificate of registration. Okay, so this is an important document that you have to have it with you when you are carrying out business activity as a sole proprietorship. Okay, so what's the purpose of registering? So what's the purpose of registering the business name? Okay, so when it comes to sole proprietorship, when you are naming the business, okay, when you are naming the business apart from your name, for example, if your name is Abdullah, if you're naming another name, and if you're naming the business in another name, then it is important that you have to register. Okay, so what are the advantages of registering the business name? What are the advantages? It provides an identity and recognition. Okay, so people can tell you, okay, a new business has started in this location. So only if you have a business name and only if you have registered it, okay, your business will get promoted to all the places. You will get a recognition. They will be able to identify your business. Okay, so it provides an identity and recognition. Another advantage? What's another advantage? Yes, it gives an ownership of the business name. No, by registering, you own that business, like that name. You own it because you carry out that business based on that business name. You get an ownership of that business name. Okay, so by registering, it provides and provides an ownership of the business name. Okay, that's a Another advantage. One more. One more. Easy to obtain loans. Now, if we have registered our business along with our business name, when it comes to if you in a emergency situation you want to take loans and stuff, if you show your certificate of registration, then the people who who gives loan, they will they will trust you. Okay, so it's a certified business, they have registered it. Okay, so in a situation where you don't give back the loan, they can also take legal action. That's a different story. But to obtain loans easily, you if you register your business name, you can do that easily. You can easily obtain loan. Easy to obtain, easy to obtain loans. Okay, so those are the basic three advantages that you gain by registering your business name. So with that, okay, so with that, we are done with chapter 4, is it? Sorry, chapter 3 of your Great Intelligence Business Organization. Okay, so we went through the whole chapter. Okay, do you all have any doubts? Okay, so if you have any doubts regarding a particular chapter, you all can ask after we finish each chapter. Okay, so now that I'm done with this chapter, do you all have any doubts? Okay, if you have any doubts, you can drop a message in the chat box. All right, I see no doubts. Okay, so I said that I will first complete the two little bit content bigger chapter. No? So this was the chapter in grade 10, and then when it comes to grade 11, that's the other chapter where the content is a bit bigger. So I'll quickly go through that as well. So when it comes to support services, I have a task that's a task for y'all. Okay, so let me finish this page first, and then I'll come to that. Okay, so chapter 1 in grade 11, trade and supporting services. Okay, so so in the beginning itself I have given a diagram. Okay, so this diagram is where the bigger picture. Okay, so the main thing here is commerce. Okay, so when you take commerce only, you can divide that into two. Okay, when you take commerce, okay, so commerce is the big is the one playing the big role. This commerce only we can divide into two as trade, okay, as trade, okay, and business supporting services. Okay, so this commerce only can be classified as two categories: trade and business supporting services. Okay, so these supporting services are basically services which support to carry out your business activity. Okay, trade and business support services. So this chapter is basically an in-depth explanation about what trade is and about what business support services are. Okay, so when you take trade, you can again divide it into two. What are those? What are those two classifications? Trade can be divided into two. What are they? Yes, domestic trade and international trade. Okay, so after we finish up the diagram, we'll go in detail about what each trade is. Okay, so when you take trade, you can divide that as domestic trade and international trade. International trade. Okay, so when you take domestic trade, that again can be classified into two. That again can be classified into two. What are those two? Retail and wholesale. Retail, retail and wholesale. Retail trade and wholesale trade. Okay, so that's the two classification of domestic trade. International trade, also we can again divide into two. What are they? Import and export. Import and export. Import, trade, and export. So moving on to the business support services. Okay. So we study 4 different type of support services in this chapter. So what are those those 4 support services? Yes, we have banking, insurance, yes, banking, insurance, communication, and transportation. Okay, so these are the 4 supporting services that we will go through in this chapter. Okay, so moving on to the classification of trade. Okay, so when it comes to trade, as I said you before, we can divide it as domestic and international trade. Let me show you on this. Yes, we can divide as domestic and international trade. And domestic trade, you can divide as retail trade and wholesale trade. And international trade, you can divide it as import and export. So we'll go through what each of it is. Okay, so domestic trade, when it comes to domestic trade, they are trade basically carried out among different parties within a country. Inside the country, when you carry out trade activities among different parties, that's what you call as domestic trade. So domestic trade you can divide into as retail trade and wholesale trade. So when it comes to retail trade, what is retail trade? What is retail trade? Okay, so retail trade is where you sell, where you sell goods and services for the final consumption to customers. Okay, now when a business itself means what? You sell goods and services to fulfill the needs and wants of the customers now. So when it comes to retail trade, this is where we sell goods and services for the final consumption of the customers. Okay, so sell goods and services sell goods and services for final consumption of the customers. Okay, so that's retail. What's wholesale? Okay, what makes it different from retail trade? Okay, in wholesale trade, we sell. Okay, in wholesale trade, we sell the goods with the purpose of reselling. Okay, through wholesale trade, we don't sell for the final consumption. So to whoever the goods are sold, they will again sell it to someone else. Okay, so in wholesale trade, we purchase goods. Okay, the wholesalers, okay, they purchase goods with the purpose of reselling. Okay, they purchase goods with the purpose of reselling. Okay, not for final consumption. Okay, so now let's see the characteristics of a retail trade. Okay, so what are the specific characteristics that you can see in a retail trade? Okay, so as I mentioned in the definition, okay, they sell the goods for final consumption. That is one. What else? Okay, so through retail trade, okay, okay, the retailers, they provide us with variety of goods. So variety of goods are brought forward to us where we can purchase from different varieties. Okay, so the retailers supply, supply variety of goods. Okay, what else? Okay, they supply, yes, they supply in the required quantity. In whatever, do we need 1 pen? They will give 1 pen. 2 pens? 2 pens. In whatever quantity we want, they will provide. So supply in required quantity. What else? Yes, the retail traders, they have a close proximity with the customer. The customers, they directly come to the retailers and purchase goods now. So there is a close proximity between the retailers and the customers. Okay, close proximity with the customer. So these are the basic characteristics that you can see in retail trade. So there are more points in your book. You can note it under this. Okay, so a point to note, okay, like when I was explaining, I told as retailers. So the people who conduct retail trade are called as retailers. The ones who conduct wholesale trade are called as wholesalers. Okay, so that's a term that you have to remember. Okay, so these people are called as retailers, the ones who conduct retail trade. Okay, the ones who conduct wholesale trade are called as wholesalers. Okay, so that's a term that you have to remember. Okay, then let's finish retail trade first. Okay, so we are done with the characteristics. Okay, so next we'll move on to importance. What are the importance of carrying out a retail trade? Of having a retail trade, what are the importance? Okay, so through retail trade, we can fulfill the daily human needs and wants. Whatever the needs and wants that the human needs daily, we can fulfill it through retail trade. Okay, fulfill daily human needs and fulfill daily human needs and wants. Okay, and through retail trade, only new goods to the customers can be produced. So since the retailers only directly sell goods to the customers, they can introduce new goods to the customers. That's another importance. Introduce new goods to the customers. What else? Yes, a special characteristic of retail trade is that they provide goods on credit. What do you mean providing goods on credit? Where they sell the goods and the customers, they can pay the money for it later. They do not have to pay it then and there. Okay, they can have an agreement and they can pay the money for it later on. Okay, so only retailers do that. Okay, provide goods on credit. Okay, so those are basically the importance of retail trade. Okay, then we also have that we also have different types of retail trade. Okay, so we can conduct retail trade in various ways. Okay, so what are the types? Yes, we can either carry out as a fixed large scale retail business. Okay, we can either carry out as a fixed large scale. We can carry out in a large scale. We can carry out the retail trade in a large scale. So we have fixed large scale retail. Then we have fixed small scale. We can also carry out in a smaller scale, not bigger. Okay, so we have small scale retail trade. Okay, then we also have something called a small scale mobile retailers. What do you mean by mobile retailers? Small scale mobile retail. What do you mean by mobile? So this is where the business is not fixed in one place. They move from one place to another and they carry out retail trading. That's what meant by mobile. So these are the various types of retail trade that that is available. Okay, then moving on to the characteristics of wholesale business. Okay, so wholesale business are the wholesalers who purchase goods with the purpose of reselling, not for their consumption. So these wholesalers, they purchase goods with the purpose of reselling. Okay, so how do these people basically sell goods? They most of the time sell goods in large quantity. Because they sell goods in bulk. Okay, and then the ones who buy will again sell it little by little to the customers. So the wholesalers will sell the goods in bulk, in large quantity. Okay, so sell in large quantity. Okay, what else? Yes, providing trade discounts. Now, we sell goods in large quantity, in bulk. So when people buy goods in large quantity, we provide them trade discount. That's another special characteristic. Okay, provide trade discounts. One more. The unit price is low. Yes, now when you compare with retail trade, when the unit price of a good in wholesale trade is relatively low. Okay, so that's another characteristic. Unit price, that means the price of one product is relatively low. Okay, so those are like the basic characteristics. You can jot down the other points under. Okay, so when you take retail trade and wholesale trade, so what are the basic difference that you see? What are the basic difference that you see? So when you take a retail trade, you sell goods for final consumption. You sell goods for final consumption. But wholesale trade, you sell goods for final consumption. No, you sell goods for the purpose of reselling. You sell goods for the purpose of reselling. Okay, you do not consume. Another difference? What else? As I said in the characteristics, through retail trade, varieties of products are sold. Okay, you sell different types of products. You sell different types of products. But in wholesale trade, is it like that? No, you sell one type, only a limited type of products, but in large quantity. In large quantity, you sell only one type or two types of products. You don't sell varieties of products. Okay, you sell one or limited type of products. Okay, one more. Okay, the others you all can jot it down on your own. Yes, the goods in retail trade, we sell it at the list price. Okay, retailers, okay, the goods they sell at the list price. Okay, while in wholesale, okay, they provide discounts. They provide discounts while selling the goods. So that's another difference. Okay, so you can, there were more differences in your textbook, you can add it here. Okay, so that's about domestic trade. Domestic trade, we can divide it as retail and wholesale, and we discussed that in detail. Moving on to international trade. International trade is where we carry out trade activity between two or more countries. Domestic is trade activities within the country. No? International, we carry out trade activity. Trade means what? Selling of goods and services. We carry out trade between two or more countries, between countries. Okay, so even that we can classify as import trade and export trade. Okay, so what happens in import trade? Importing is where we purchase goods from a foreign country or countries to our country. Okay, importing, where purchase, we purchase goods from another foreign country or countries to our country. Okay, we bring it to our country from another country. So this is where we carry out trade activities between countries. Okay, so purchasing goods to our country is import trade, while selling the goods, selling our domestic goods to another foreign country is export. We export our goods to another country. We sell. We selling our domestic goods to another foreign country or countries. Right, one country or more than one country. Okay, so is that understood? That's basically import and export. So that's it when it comes to trade. Okay, so you have domestic trade, and you can again divide as retail, wholesale. Then you have international, and you can again divide as import and export. So that's it about trade. So we are done with the one classification of commerce. When it comes to the next classification of commerce, which is supporting services. Now, when you take your textbook, it has a huge content. Each of the supporting services has a lot of subtopics. Okay, it has a really big content. So obviously, I can't cover all of those in this 3-hour session. So for this particular topic, okay, I give this task to you all. Okay, so I have given space for each supporting services for banking, insurance, communication, and for transportation. I have given space. Okay, so through your own ability, through your own knowledge, so I'm sure you would have already done, you all are done studying. You all must be doing revision now. So as a revision, you all can use this space and create a short note for each of the supporting services. So that task is for you all. Okay, so after you all have completed, you all can definitely send it to me. I will check it for you. Okay, so this particular task I will give it to you, so please do it. Okay, so with that I am done with trade and supporting services chapter, which is the first chapter of grade 11, and previously I did the third chapter of grade 10, which is business organization as well. So comparatively, among the business studies chapters, the the chapters which has a bigger content, I did that first. So I am done with that. Okay, so I think I have only another, I have very limited time, so I doubt that I'll be able to complete all of the chapters. Okay, so from grade 11, we have another 3 more, and from grade 10, we have another 2 more. So I will do another chapter from grade 10. And if I have time, I'll do another chapter from grade 11. Okay. And yes, with that, I think my time for segment 1 is done. So the remaining chapters, you all can do it on your own. I will be sending the answer script. You all can check. And if you all have doubts, you all can ask. Okay. So the first 2 chapters of grade 10 is really, really easy. And if I don't do also, it doesn't matter, because it's not at all complex. It's very simple. Okay, so I'm sure you all can do it on your own as well. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through the first chapter for you. Okay, so where I started itself with the business organization. So business is what? It's basically an economic activity where we manufacture or provide. Okay, we can either, like from scratch, we can either be businesses who manufactures the goods and services, or we can either be business who provides the goods and services with profit or not profit motive. Okay, we can either have profit motive or not profit motive in order to fulfill the human needs and wants. Okay, so the main objective, okay, the main aim of carrying out business activity is to fulfill our human needs and want. Okay, by manufacturing or providing different goods and services with a profit or a non-profit motive. Okay, so through carrying out business activity, so what are the few objectives that we have? Okay, so like most of the business, their objective is to earn profits. Okay, is to earn profits. Okay, so by fulfilling human needs and wants, okay, they try to earn profits. Okay, most of the business, their aim is profits. Okay, then next, to increase customer satisfaction. Now, when carrying out business activity, only if the customer is satisfied, they will buy their products. Only if the customer buy their products, the business will grow. Okay, so they have to make sure that their customer is satisfied. Okay, so increase customer satisfaction. Okay, so now these are the two main objectives that all the business will have, that most of the business will have. Okay, now in order to fulfill these objectives, there are some sub objectives that the business has to focus on. Okay, that is, okay, to increase the quality of goods and services. Only if the quality of the goods and services is good, the customers will buy. Thereby, the customer satisfaction will increase. Thereby, they can earn profits. Okay, the next sub-objective, generating employment opportunity. So, through establishing a business, they can generate employment opportunities as well. Okay, employment opportunities. Okay, then employee welfare. So the employees, okay, there will be employees who will be working in their business. So they have to make sure, okay, that they are well taken. They are like we have looked after them properly. Like we provide them good salary, we provide them good accommodation. Okay, so it's not only about carrying out business activity and earning profit. We need to make sure, we need to see the welfare of the employee as well. Okay, so that's another objective. Employee welfare. So those are basically, so these two are the main objectives. These are the sub-objectives that the business has to achieve to achieve these two main objectives. So as I said, businesses is basically an economic activity which provides goods and services to fulfill what? Consumer needs and wants. So what are these needs and wants basically? Okay, so needs are basically the requirements, okay, that has to be essentially fulfilled for the existence of human. Okay, and wants are basically the different ways of fulfilling the needs. Okay, so let's see, so let's go through some differences between needs and wants. So when it comes to needs, they are essential. They are essential. But wants, it's not essential. Okay, not everything is essential. Another one, it's common to everyone. It's common to everyone. Okay, everyone has common needs. But when it comes to wants, it differs from person to person. Okay, it's diverse. One people will have one want. What else? So when it comes to needs, we cannot create it. We can't create. But wants can we? Yes, wants we can create. Another one? Limited. Needs are limited. While wants, they are unlimited. We have unlimited wants. We have unlimited wants. So some examples of needs and wants. So when it comes to needs, we can basically take as food. Food is something that's essential for our survival. But wants, they differ from people to people. So some people will want rice, Well, some will want bread. Well, some will want cake. See, like this, it differ from people to people. Another example, you can take clothes. It's essential for survival. You have to protect yourself using clothes. So this also differs from people to people. Some people will wear frock. Some people will wear frock. Well, some will wear t-shirt. Well, some will wear sari. See? So like this, it differs from people to people. So this is basically what consumer needs and wants. So here you can add another characteristic. Okay, so then another subtopic in your chapter is manufacturing businesses. So when it comes to businesses, there are businesses who just provides the products only. Okay, they purchase it from another supplier and they just provide it. But there are businesses who manufacture it, who produce it. Okay, so based on the nature of the product that the business produce, we can divide the manufacturing business into two. One as commodity manufacturing business and two as service providing business. Okay, so commodity manufacturing business are business which produce like tangible physical products, while service providing businesses are business which provide services to people in order to fulfill their needs and wants. Okay, then moving on to the stakeholders of the business. These are the important stakeholders of the business. These are the important, like you can say, the people who are connected to a business. So we have owners, we have managers, customers. So there are so many stakeholders of business. So when it comes to stakeholders in your book, we have the who the stakeholders are and how they influence the business. So all of this is given in point form. So make sure you study it. So I have given in as a summarized version here. Okay, then moving on to factors of production. What are factors of production? Okay, so for the businesses, in order to produce these goods and services, okay, they need different resources. They need to input something. Only if they input, they can output. So what are the inputs? These inputs are called as factors of production. So we have four main factors of production. Okay, what are the four factors of production? We have land, yes, labor, land, labor, what else? Yes, capital, and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. Okay, so these are the four factors of production that you use as inputs in order to produce goods and services. Okay, so yes, with that, the first chapter is done. So basically, so I might finish up with the segment 1 now. Okay, so so I was able to complete chapter 1. Okay, chapter 3 in grade 10 and then chapter 1 in grade 11. Okay, so the remaining chapters, they are basic chapters, simple chapters, nothing complex. Okay, so you all can definitely do it on your own. Okay, it's nothing complex. Okay, so I will give that task to you all, do it on your own. Okay, or within the next week or two, I'll be sending the answer script. You all can compare and fill it up. Okay, so now I'll give a break, okay, to pray Asr. Okay, it's 4:30. Yeah, it's 4:33 now. Okay, so we have to pray Asr, no? So I'll give you all 10 minutes. Okay, you all can go pray Asr. So now it's 4:34, no? So you all can come back by 4:45. Okay, so you all can come back by 4:45. Pray Asr and be back by 4:45. All right. I hope y'all are back. One second. Right. Let's start with segment two. Okay, which basically question knowledge. I have prepared some questions for y'all. So, like similar to your O-level paper, I prepared, part one, which is MCQs. I prepared MCQs, and then in paper two, you have question one, okay, which includes both business studies and accounting. So I picked up only the business studies questions and included here, not the accounting. So in part two, question one is a compulsory question, right? So from that, I picked up only the business studies questions and put here. And then in paper two, uh, part one, like they divide into two parts, no, part one, part two. So part one is business studies, part two is accounting. So in that, you have choice. So they will give you three questions, three main questions, and you will have to choose two if I'm not wrong. Okay. So I prepared questions in the exact format. Okay. So we'll discuss one by one from the beginning. Okay. So hopefully I'll get to cover everything. And again, if I don't get to cover, I'll be sending the answers. You all can check and mark. Okay. So let's start with the MCQs. Okay, so you all need to be interactive here, right? So we have the chat box. Okay, so the answers you all can drop in the chat box. Okay, right. 1 second. All right. You all can see my screen, right? My screen is visible, right? Okay, let's start. Okay. So the first five questions, okay, they usually give you a small case study, and based on that case study only, you all have to answer the first five MCQs. So let's read that case study first. Maya runs a small juice bar using her own blender and a rented store. Business is growing because many people in her town now prefer healthy drinks over soda. So she runs a small juice bar. So now people are starting to prefer healthy drinks over soda. So it's a positive factor for her. However, Maya struggles to pay her monthly electricity bills on time. To buy a delivery bike and expand her reach, Maya is now planning to form a partnership with her friend Sarah. Okay, so now this small juice bar was done only by Maya only. So it's a what business? So what type of business is this? So only Maya runs this small juice bar. There's only a single owner. Then what kind of business organization is this? You can put your answers in your chat box, in the chat box. Yes, it's a sole proprietorship business, right? Maya, the sole owner, is carrying out this juice bar. She is the only owner. Okay, after that, okay, she's at the end, it is mentioned that now she's planning to form a partnership with her friend Sarah. So now she's trying to form a partnership business by joining hands with Sarah. Okay, so let's see the question now. Okay, let's put this. Okay. Now, first question. The blender, okay, the blender which is used to make the juice represents which factor of production? So as I mentioned before the break, okay, we discussed chapter 1. So there are 4 factors of production, the inputs that you use in your business: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. What factor of production is the blender? Okay, so you use the blender to make the juice. So under what factor of production will it come? Capital, yes. Okay, the man-made tools that is used in the business, in the production, is only capital. So we have the blender, okay, which is basically a man-made tool which you use to make the juice. So the answer is capital. Okay, the answer is capital. Let's put it in red. Yes, okay. So the blender which is used to make the juice is a capital. Next, the fact that people now prefer healthy drink is an example of, okay. So here the options are strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Okay, so this is the second chapter, business environment. So business environment you can divide into two, as internal environment and external environment. So by analyzing internal environment, we can identify the business strength and weakness. By analyzing the external environment, we can identify the business's opportunity and threat. Okay, so now here they are asking the fact that people now prefer healthy drink is what to the business. So now those people are basically our customers. So customers fall under what environment? Internal or external environment? External environment, that they are not people who do the business activities. No, the people who engage in the business activities only basically come under the internal environment. So customers, the people, are basically from the external environment. So from external environment, we identify opportunities and threats. So that means strength and weakness is not an option for our answer at all. Okay, so leaving those two, it's either opportunity or threat. Okay, so now people now preferring healthy drink. Now our business is what? A small juice bar where we basically make healthy juices. So people now preferring healthy drink means that they will start purchasing juice from our business. So it's an opportunity. It's a positive factor, not a negative factor. So it's an opportunity for Maya's business. Okay, it's an opportunity for Maya's business that people now prefer healthy drink. Okay, next one. Which of the following is a primary objective of Maya's customers? Okay, so our business is juice bar. We make juice. So what do you think is the primary objective of Maya's customer? So the people who come and buy juice from our business, what do you think is their primary objective is? To receive a share of the business profit, is it? Like, do they want anything to do with the business profit? No, they just come, buy whatever we sell and go and consume it. So they don't have anything to do with our profit. They don't want any share from our profit. Next, to obtain high quality healthy juice at a fair price. Isn't this the answer? They are the people, they now prefer healthy drink, so they come to our business, okay, expecting a high quality healthy juice for a fair price, not that much expensive as well. So isn't that their primary objective? Isn't the second one the primary objective of our customer, of Maya's customer? All right, so let's see the other options. To ensure Maya pays her electricity bills to the government. Obviously, customers won't be bothered if Maya paid her electricity bill or no. All they want is a healthy juice. Okay? To manage the daily operations of the juice bar. Again, customers don't want to do anything with the business activity. All they want is healthy juice, which is high in quality at a fair price. Okay? So the primary objective of Maya's customer is to obtain high quality healthy juice at a fair price. So the option B. Okay, then the next one. If Maya's business fails, while she is a sole proprietor, she may have to sell her personal jewelry to pay the shop's debts. This is because of, yes, we discussed this when discussing business organization, okay, having to sell their personal asset when it comes to paying off their liability. What is it called? It's unlimited liability, no? So limited liability means our personal assets are not used. It's limited to the business capital and resources. Okay? When when our personal asset is also used when it comes to covering up a liability, that is unlimited liability. Okay? So the answer is B. Okay, so due to unlimited liability of sole proprietorship, okay, so in a situation of paying off debts, okay, Maya has to may have to use her personal assets as well. Okay, next one. What is the key reason Maya is planning to form a partnership with Sarah? Okay, so let's go to the options. To ensure only one person makes all the decisions. So obviously, so when in sole proprietorship, only she was the owner, so only she made decisions. But if she makes a partnership with Sarah, how can she only make decisions? She has to make decisions along with Sarah. So, so it's not this option. Next one. To gain a separate legal identity from the owners. Okay, so we discussed when studying the business organization chapter. Okay, we do not have separate legal personality for both sole proprietorship and partnership. Okay, so forming a partnership with Sarah does not make any difference in the legal personality. So that's not the option either. Okay, next, to raise more capital and share the business responsibilities. So this feels like the answer. Now here see, when she forms a partnership with Sarah, Sarah also will put whatever capital she has, and she also will get some responsibilities towards the business that she has to do towards the business. Okay, so by forming a partnership with Sarah, she can get more capital for the business and she can divide the business responsibilities with her. Okay, so isn't that the answer? So by forming a partnership, she can raise more capital and share business responsibilities. To convert the juice bar into a government-owned business, no. Partnership is not government-owned; it's a private. Okay, so the answer is option 3. Option C. Okay, then yes, those 5 questions are done from that case study. Then we have the next 2 questions, question number 6 and 7, where we have another small case study to answer those. Okay, so let's see the case study. Green Leaf. Green Leaf is a small organic farm that sells fresh vegetables. Okay, recently a large supermarket chain opened a branch nearby them, offering organic produce at a higher convenience but higher prices. In response, the owner of Greenleaf started a free home delivery service for its regular customers. Okay, so a green leaf organic farmers there selling vegetables, and suddenly close to them another large supermarket selling organic produce opened up. Okay, and which basically caused an effect to them effect to the owner of green leaf. So what he did was he soon started a free home delivery service for his regular customers. Okay, so we'll see the questions. What is the external environmental factor that affected Greenleaf business? Okay, so now you can see a large supermarket chain opened a branch nearby. Now this was something that negatively affected the owner of Greenleaf. Am I right? So it's an external environmental factor which affected the Greenleaf business. So what do you think is that factor? Is the supermarket a supplier? No. Is it a technology? Obviously, no, it's not the government either. The supermarket chain that opened nearby is a competitor. Even we produce fresh vegetables, even they produce fresh vegetables. So, on a new competition, a competitor opened up next to us. So, the supermarket chain is a competitor for us now. Yes, exactly. The answer is competitors. Okay. The supermarket chain is a competitor to us. Okay, the next business. And the question, the next question. An example for place or distribution, okay, which is a variable of the marketing mix. Okay, that's from one of your chapters in grade 11. In Greenleaf, business is. Okay, so you have various the 4 P's, the marketing mix, and one of them is place. Okay, so what is the example that will come under the marketing mix? Place. Okay, selling organic vegetables? No, that's not place. Okay, then offering high quality produce? No, that's not anything related to place. Providing a free home delivery service? Yes. Okay, the owner of the Greenleaf business started delivering the vegetables to the doorstep of the daily customers. Okay, so that's an example. Yes, exactly, providing a free home delivery service. That's the answer for the example of place. So by providing a free home delivery service, okay, he's trying to market his business. Okay, so comparing to the supermarket, my business will provide free home delivery service. So you can come and buy vegetables from my business. So this is a method of marketing his business. Okay, specifically under place, so the answer is providing free home delivery service. Okay, so opening farm to the public, no, so such thing does not happen in the scenario. Okay, moving on to the next question. Okay, right. The eighth one. According to the ownership, the type of business organization that the Ceylon Electricity Board belongs to. What type of business organization does Ceylon Electricity Board belong? What type of business organization is this? Yes, it's public corporation. It's a public corporation business. So this is something that you have to know as general knowledge. Okay, so see, like you would have studied as examples under each of the business when you study business organization. So Ceylon Electricity Board is a public corporation. Okay, it's a government-owned business organization. Okay, which is not non-profit. Right. Then we have the ninth one. What is a political, legal, environmental factor that affects a business? Okay, so we studied different type of environment under the external environment in chapter 2. Okay, so among these 4 points, what is a political, legal, environmental factor? Okay, an increase in the inflation rate. Fluctuation in inflation rate happens in the economy, so that's economical environment. Okay, new labor laws introduced by the government. Labor laws, introducing laws. So isn't that related to political or legal? So the answer is option 2. Option 2 is a political, legal, environmental factor that affects the business. 10th one. A blank check is used to ensure payment is made only through a bank account, and a blank check can be encashed over the counter. Yes, I just noticed that the check spelling is wrong. Okay, I can correct that. Okay. So yes. So what check is used to ensure that payment is? So what do we do to ensure that payment is made only through bank account? And what check can be encashed only over the counter? Yes, a check that is crossed. Okay, a check that is crossed only. Only if a check is crossed, we can make payment through a bank account. Only if the check is crossed. Okay, and only a bearer check. Okay, so we have two types of check called order check and bearer check. Only a bearer check can be encashed over the counter. Okay, so the first one is crossed, the second one with bearer. So the answer is option 1. Okay, next question. Eleventh one. A student takes a train from the Fort railway station to reach their school in Kandy. Select the answer that indicates the transportation elements for Fort railway station and the train in the above case respectively. Okay, so we have the different transportation elements when it comes to transportation. Okay, so here they are asking the Fort railway station and train belongs to what transportation element? Okay, so we have 4 transportation elements: power, mode, way, and terminal. Okay, so here the Fort railway station is what transportation element? The terminal, no? So terminal is where like the place where the relevant the vehicle is parked or it stops. Okay, so the Fort railway station train it stops, it parks or stops or whatever in the railway station. So the Fort railway station is a terminal. Okay, then train is the mode, the mode of traveling. The mode of traveling is only the train. So the student takes the train. The mode of traveling is train. The terminal is Fort railway station. So our answer is terminal and mode. Okay, next question, the 12th one. Select the incident related to the principle of utmost good faith in insurance. Okay, so utmost good faith. What do you mean by the principle utmost good faith in insurance? Where you reveal. Now, between the insurer and the insured, you reveal all the information between each other. You do not hide anything. If you go to hide anything, problems can occur. So, you have to follow the principle of utmost good faith where you reveal all the information between the insurer and the insured. So, among these 4 options, what incident is related to utmost good faith? Okay, an individual insuring their neighbor's house against fire? No, that's not something related to revealing information. Next one, a shop owner disclosing all previous fire incidents when applying for a policy. See, so when this shop owner, when he is applying for an insurance policy, he is disclosing all the previous fire incidents. He is disclosing, he is mentioning all the information. So here he is including all the information. He is not hiding anything. He is not hiding whatever that happened in the past. Everything he is disclosing, he is mentioning. So, this particular incident is related to the principle utmost good faith. Okay, and other two are not. Okay, second option. Okay, then the 13th one. The finance manager sent an email to the bank manager requesting a statement of accounts for the month of October. Okay, so the finance manager is sending an email to the bank manager. The communication elements included in the above statement are, okay, so we have learned the communication element, the sender, the medium, receiver, the message, encoding, decoding, the feedback. Okay, so here the finance manager sending an email to the bank manager requesting the statement of account for the month of October. So what are the elements included here? The finance manager, he is who? He is the sender of the message. The bank manager, he is the receiver. And what is finance manager sending to the bank manager? An email, which includes a particular message. requesting a statement of accounts for the month of October. So that's the message. So we have a sender, we have the receiver, then we have the message. Okay. We have the receiver here, and then the medium is email. The medium of sending the particular message is email. So let's see the options. So we have send a medium message. We don't have receive. So here we have receiver, but there's nothing about feedback and noise. Here we have encoding. There's nothing about encoding. Here we have some decoding. No. So the most suitable option is first one. Sender, medium and message. Okay, so we have the receiver also, but in the option, the most suitable one is the first option. All right, let's continue. Okay, had a small issue here. Okay, so the next MCQ, the 14th one. All right. Some activities done by the organizing committee, okay, there's a small spelling mistake there, okay, to correct it. Organizing committee of schoolhouse meet are as follows. Okay, A, engaging the students for sports training activities daily, appointing house captains and games captains. C, deciding to conduct the annual sports meet at the end of March. D, allocating funds needed for prizes and trophies from school development societies. So the question is, out of the above activities, organizing and leading in management process indicate respectively from. Okay, so among the management functions, so we have 4 management functions. Okay, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So they're asking from among these 4 activities, what is organizing and leading? So let's see one by one. Engaging the students for sports training activities daily. Now here we are like we are guiding the students to do the sports training daily. So we are we're allocating the students to do this. So this is done in what management function? Leading. So leading is where you allocate the resource. That is our resource of our students. Here, student is our resource to do sports training activity daily. Okay, so here the management function is leading. Then appointing house captains and games captain. So here the resources, house captains and games captain, we are organizing. Okay, we are putting it like the resources we have, we are putting it properly and organizing in this like the house captains and games captain. We are appointing it so that they will be able to guide the students. Okay, so this is done through the management function organizing. Okay, then we have C, deciding to conduct the annual sports meet at the end of March. So here we are planning. Okay, we are planning. Okay, we'll keep the sports meet at the end of March. So this is basically the management function planning. Okay, and then we have allocating funds needed for prizes and trophies from school development. So again, we are allocating. Okay, we are allocating the funds which is needed. So here also we are organizing the funds which is our resource. We are organizing it properly and so that it is the fund so that we will properly get the prizes and trophies from the school development society. So A was leading, okay, because we are leading the students to do the training activities. B was organizing, we are allocating the house captains and games captain respectively. Then C was planning. D was again organizing, we are allocating the funds. So the options, so they're asking organizing and leading. Okay, so we have B for organizing and leading A. So B and A is the option. Okay, then the last MCQ. Select the financial return received by investing in equity shares of a listed company in the Colombo Stock Exchange and fixed deposits of a bank, respectively. Okay, so in the last chapter of grade 11, okay, we studied the ways of investing and the returns that we get. So here they are asking, okay, by investing in equity shares of a listed company in Colombo Stock Exchange and by investing in fixed deposits of a bank, what are the returns that we get? Okay, so by investing in equity shares, by purchasing shares, what do we get in return? Dividends. What else? We get dividends. We can do another activity where we can purchase these shares at a price and we can sell them at a higher price. So what is this process called? Capital gain. Purchasing the shares at a lower price and selling them at a higher price is capital gain. Okay, so we have the option capital gain. Now here they are asking respectively. Now, so we have two answers for the first investment, dividends and capital gain. But here dividend come as the second answer. We don't have dividend as the first answer. We have capital gain only as the first answer. So it's either first one or the second one. So what's the second investment? Fixed deposits. Okay, by having fixed deposits in a bank, what do we get in return? Interest income. Through having fixed deposits, we receive interest income. Okay, obviously we don't get dividends from fixed deposits. We get dividends from shares. So the answer is the fourth one, capital gains and interest income. Alright, so with that, we are done with the MCQs. Okay, so with the discussion of MCQs, I will be winding up today's session. Okay, the session, I will end it now. The answers for the paper 2, question 1 and the other choice questions, I will definitely be sending it in the group along with the other chapters. Now, there were a few chapters which I couldn't complete as well. Okay, so along with the answers for those chapters, I will be sending the answers for paper 2 as well. Okay, so with that, I'll end today's session.